Two mutant kids.
Welcome to the Carousel Podcast, where I don't have my lines open.
Oh,
yeah, all the energy tonight, John.
I don't. I'm.
Move that shit for you and everything.
Where am I? Okay, let me. So, welcome to the Carousel. We're going to discuss video games,
Video games?
movies, sometimes comic books,
Movies and
and whatever awful thing. Do we have to talk about awful things? Let's not talk about awful.
I mean, we probably
I mean,
don't have to. They just
it
sort of-
happens.
Yeah.
I think they call that what's the word? Emergent gameplay.
Riffing, vamping, right?
Yeah. So I guess we should tell people who we are, right? I'm John. I go by MusiM sometimes. With me, we also have Randy,
Hello, that's me.
and we have Jake.
So there's some big news. As of this cast, we are now into year 3 of the Return of the Carousel, but that's not the big news. The big news is that Kit Harington and Rose Leslie are engaged. That's Jon Snow and Ygritte, man.
I don't know whoever Leslie is.
You know nothing, John Musim.
Well, I know who Jon Snow is.
She, the lady, Rose Leslie. That's Ygritte. That's the redhead that he bones in the cave.
Oh,
The redhead wildling.
he's just like, remember that one time we were naked with like 50 people watching us and like sticking cameras up our ass? I was really into that. We should do that
know.
more.
Maybe they were doing hand stuff under the water or something. You don't know.
I mean, I
Camera
don't.
pegging.
You don't, like, you know, I realize there's an enormous amount of pressure on the actors in those situations, but man, I want to hear the behind-the-scenes story where, like, one of them did pop a boner and offended the other one, you know?
I got a hunch which one pops
Yeah,
the
I
boner.
think I know.
Well,
Let me tell you something.
I'm just saying it probably doesn't happen, and, like, does it complain? Is it like that episode of Entourage where, I forgot, the guy's playing some chick's sister and pops a boner, and then she goes and complains to the director and gets him fired? Like, I don't remember, but...
Sometimes it just happens, man. You can't be firing people for boners.
So speaking of boners,
Yeah.
things that are used to symbolize men's boners. Game Full of Guns. We got Destiny 2 that everyone has been talking about, but we haven't had an episode since that came out. You've been playing this a lot, haven't you, Randy?
I have been, unfortunately, all by myself. But yeah, I really like it. It's got everything that Destiny 1 did right, and it got rid of basically everything Destiny did wrong.
When did you pick it up? Because I had it all last weekend.
I picked it up the Friday it released.
Well, shit. I guess you just weren't on when I was on.
I don't.
Oh, no, that's right. I list myself as offline.
Also, I'm playing on PS4.
Yep, that's where I was.
Okay, well, what the hell? I guess we're not friends.
I guess not.
I mean, we do kind of a shitty job at curtailing to the Xbox side of the audience since we're all kind of pro Sony this generation.
I don't even have one. You two both at least have an Xbone.
I play stuff on the Xbox. I played Mass Effect on there. There's a lot of stuff I like about that Xbox. The controller and interface are not among them. So generally, if I have an option, I'm probably going to go with Sony. I don't dislike.
Yeah, I go with whatever my friends at the time buy.
But my favorite thing about the Xbox interface is every time you get an achievement, there's a wallpaper associated with that. So
That's
like
something.
it's cool. It's fun. It's a nice little thing where it's like like so if I'm playing on PS4 and I get a trophy, I'm always kind of like, man, I wish I had a wallpaper that came with it.
Yeah. Well, okay,
Anyway,
so
It's really good. It's
All
really
right.
fun.
yeah, but what do you think about Destiny though?
Well, I only played the beta the first time around, and I was like, fuck this. And then I played the beta for this one, and I was like, yeah, fuck this too. It was like, but it was the number 2, like it was the sequel to fuck this.
Right.
And then I just heard so many people hype it, and I was like, well, Redbox has got it. For $3 a night, if I hate it, I'm out maybe $6. So, okay, I'll take a shot on it. The story is a story.
Yeah.
That first one must have been really awful if this is what people are raving about.
It was basically non-existent.
Okay, so has story this time. Checkbox.
Something about a Russian AI. That's all I remember about the story in the first one.
Well, that doesn't really play a part. There were war mines. And
That was it. And it had nothing to do with the actual story, which I don't remember what the actual story was.
Shoot bad guys. Shoot fallen.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, this guy showed up with the ship. Let's go on the ship and beat him up.
The last mission, you had to kill the heart in the Black Garden or whatever, and there were tons of Vex.
Oh, yeah, it was all about the Vex, wasn't it?
The original thing in the first raid, it was all Vex. And then they just could not get their shit off the Hive. It was all Hive all the time from then out.
What did the Hive do again? What's their deal? Because I don't remember any of these things' names except I think it's the Taken, like the zombie things. Those are the zombie guys, right? They're spectral and raised from the dead and shit.
The Shadow guys?
Yeah, that's the Taken.
Yeah, that's the Taken, and they are like all of the different races.
Right. What's the Hive's deal? Were they in this one?
Yeah, they're in this one. They're in 2. Everybody, it's like all the greatest hits. They didn't introduce any new races. The Hive are like the sort of bony, I want to say bug people.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking more like lizard guys. Like they're the ones that'll go invisible and they go out of the staves they're running around with.
I thought that was the Fallen.
That is. No, the Hive, the bony
is the
best
queen lady the Hive? Wait, no, she's blue though, isn't she?
You mean the queen from the Reef?
Yeah.
No, she was one of those Awoken or whatever.
Oh, that's
She's one
right.
of that you can be one of them.
She's one of those,
I'm an Awoken.
She was one of those woke bitches.
Pretty sure she is dead in a cutscene from Taken King.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure she died. Spoilers. It's an expansion from a year ago.
Yeah, I'll never play it.
But it's that Halo. I mean, people. I guess it's kind of become like a backhanded compliment to say the shooting is real good. But man, that shooting, it's real good, and the scenery's super beautiful. Mm-hmm. Those strikes are super fun, even if I don't understand why we're going after any of these things.
See, the strikes used to be part of the story. Like, it would be a mission tick that you would have to do, and it would sort of explain it to you, and there was some narration as you were flying to it that explained why you were going on the strike in the first one. And in the second one, you just start it.
Well, like, maybe there's, the boss, like, taunts you or something as you come in, and there's, like, a line or two. But I have no idea why we're killing any of these guys.
Right, well, because they're the bad guys.
Because they're not human.
Pretty much.
There's... The music's good, the vistas are good, the movement's mostly good. There's some weird difficulty spikes in that campaign, and there's too many tokens. There's too much MMO shit, and I know they have to put that stuff in to extend gameplay and people, sticking with it or whatever. There's just too much of it, and I think it's really shitty that part of the big list of challenges they throw on you, which are basically your quests. Every time you pull up the map, you can pull these things up. And, like, they got them forced multiplayer in there, and I just, And by that, I mean PvP, not the strikes. Because, again, those are super fun. I am not going to fuck with that raid.
So I've heard...
Giant Bomb tried doing the Leviathan raid, and their video was 7.5 hours. And I was looking at it again, and that shit is part 1. They didn't beat it.
Well... I mean, did any of them actually know how to beat the raid, or were they trying to figure it out as they went?
Was this first run?
Brad did, but he was sort of letting everyone try and figure it out.
Oh, wait, no, I listened to the podcast. He evidently just hopped in at the very end of the raid to help with the boss, so he didn't see the beginning of it. So
Nope.
That's the way to do it.
He was there the whole time. He was helping another group when he did that.
You get the trophy and the rep and all that stuff without having to fuck with the raid.
So the part I'm most interested about in Destiny 2, and I just it's Boston affirmed it to me on Pup, and I'm wondering if you guys will do the same. I've heard kind of the explore areas are kind of like open world areas where you get lots of quest targets and places to go,
Well,
and they're pretty expansive.
I'd say they're bigger than they were. What I like is that there's multiple landing zones now. Like, you'll remember how in the first one there was only one landing zone.
Yeah.
And you would have to get on your freaking bike and go all over the place. And how, like, Earth was actually like 4 or 5 different zones. Now you can just land in each one from orbit. You don't have to ride your bike everywhere, which is nice. And even once you're in the Earth or whatever, you can travel between the zones. You can quick travel. Which is nice. I like that the public events are right there on your mini-map now.
That's great. That's great.
You don't have to just sit around. Because before, Jake, you said you didn't play them before. There was no indication. They would just start. There were some apps that timed it out, and they were pretty accurate. I'd say within 80% accuracy. Yeah. But sometimes you'd get there and just nothing would happen. But they're right here. You can just go straight to them.
I don't like that you have to... Like, I hit level 20, and I was like, where the fuck is my third class? And they were like, oh, yeah, you got to finish, like, 9 public events. And I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, there's quest chains to unlock those.
Not great. But you know what? I can see myself getting back into it, maybe when it comes out on PC. That aim assist, even though it generally gets me more headshots, it feels almost too generous sometimes. So I'll be interested to kind of do the mouse and keyboard thing with that game, I think.
It's a pretty... You can definitely tell sometimes. Like, I hate it when you're aiming at somebody at long range and then a enemy crosses your path at short range and it pulls your crosshair off.
Well, especially for guns you got to charge up and stuff. Like, I'm not a fan of those fusion rifles, but I'd be real pissed if I blew one of my, like, 4 total shots for this thing just because some guy ran in front, like, I was trying to take a picture at a monument or something.
I like the fusion rifles because they changed them. There's still regular fusion rifles, but now there's also linear fusion rifles, which fire they're basically laser beams, laser rifles. Those are awesome. I prefer those to sniper rifles for sure.
I don't like the sniper rifles either.
No, the sniper rifles are terrible. they all have too much zoom.
I don't find myself really using power weapons at all. I barely use the energy ones.
I use energy all the time. My favorite weapon is a hand cannon. It's an exotic hand cannon that sits in the energy spot. So they changed up the weapon system, John. Instead of your primary, secondary, and heavy, or primary, special, and heavy is what it was. Now it's kinetic, energy, and what do they call it? It's not heavy anymore. Power.
I think it's power.
Yeah, power weapons. So the first 2 can contain anything that they share the type, like pulse rifle, hand cannon, auto rifle, all that stuff, including now the submachine gun, which is a new one they added. The kinetic slot is just straight damage, and that has the most ammo and all this. And then your energy weapons has got your damage type, which you can alter. There are little mods you can put on your weapons to alter the damage type now. And then your power weapons is what used to be your heavy slot, and that's shotguns are down there now, and so are sniper rifles. Fusion rifles are down there. Rocket launchers,
grenade launchers, which I think are also not great. Yeah, I barely use them
either.
I remember liking fusion rifles a lot because you could fucking end someone if you timed it right.
Oh yeah, I use my linear fusion rifle like crazy. I use it all the time on bosses.
Well, yeah, I guess that's why I don't think it's super awesome, because only using it on bosses, it doesn't have that one-hit kill feel to it, and it just feels like it's not doing even the chunk of damage I want it to. I'd rather just spend that time lacing into this dude with my auto rifle, and I will do more damage to him in the meantime.
It's great. I was actually playing tonight before I got on. I kind of figured out that that linear fusion rifle, or I guess you could also use a sniper rifle for this. It's probably better used not even for bosses, but for clearing out the mid-level ads. Because the low-level guys you can just clean out with your regular weapons, and then those high-level guys that like to sit in the back and just launch mortars at you, basically, you can take them out pretty easily with one of those. So that's probably the best way to do it.
Like mini bosses or something, maybe. I could see that.
Yeah.
So how do they...
Anyway,
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How do they handle not having a hub?
Once you get to 20, the hub is back.
Oh, okay.
Well, you
well,
have
there's
a
a hub.
hub.
I
You
mean,
do.
It just
I assume it's a
changes.
different hub, yeah.
It's just not the tower. Yeah, it's some farm.
It's
on
like
Earth.
summer camp. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then once you beat the story missions, beat the campaign, and you're level. Well, you're not even level 20 when you beat the campaign necessarily, but once you beat the campaign, you're back up on a. It's not the tower, but it's the tower, but it's
Okay.
not technically within the story. It's not,
Yeah.
but it serves the same function.
And then when you hit
Completely.
20, you then have to gain levels by gear, right?
Yeah, they don't do
Yeah,
light
and
level
it's-
anymore. It's just
It's super arbitrary. It seems
Just
like,
power.
and then there's fusing stuff, and
it's just
that's
it's
sort of
just-
where they lost me.
It's just your average score.
Hmm.
But then it's the average score of all your gear. I'm like 99% sure that's what it is. It's as simple as that. And then yeah, you boost the
never-
attack power of stuff. You have
It never
to.
feels that way. It
I
feels
mean,
like
maybe
some
it's
stuff
not.
makes a huge difference and some stuff doesn't. So I don't know. Maybe it's dependent on what slot. Like
I
different
think
slots have different
it's-
weights. Maybe I don't know.
I think weapons carry more weight than armor.
Okay.
So maybe it's like 60% your average weapon power and 40% your. Anyway, I'm sure there's some super nerd out there that's crunched all those numbers and figured it out.
Well, either way,
Um,
I wasn't going to spend $3 a day beating my head against that. So it went back, but I will probably go back to it at some point.
It's quite a grind. I'm up to 270 now. Some people are up to 280, and I don't know how they're doing that. They got to be doing nightfalls and stuff, which, you got to. Without my friends on, you can't.
Did you not
You
join
can't-
a clan?
I know. I don't know how. You'd have to get on Reddit or something.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
go join the E1M1 clan. That's the one I was in at least last time.
Mhm.
You get a lot of benefits to the clan. Like, evidently, anytime someone finishes a raid, it gives everyone something, like in the clan. So
What
that's
are
neat.
nightfalls? So there's strikes, nightfalls, and the raid. What's a
The
nightfall?
The nightfall is a strike, one of the regular strikes, just with
Oh, with the modifications on it. Okay.
yeah, crazy high difficulty. They're much harder. And it used to be that if your fire team wiped in a nightfall, you had to start all over again, not just at the checkpoint.
Nightfall, more like wipe fail.
We we wiped on the final boss more than once.
yeah,
That's rough.
yeah,
Yeah, they changed it. Now you have checkpoints, but
yeah.
Back in-
There's
back in
some
the day,
tempers flying
oh.
sometimes.
hmm
Man, we had good times, though.
I know. I'm telling you, John. That could be us again. That could be us, buddy.
It'll happen. I just don't know when. I don't
I
know.
know.
Maybe I'll get it this weekend, or maybe not. Maybe
I
so
think
much.
you should.
The other thing that's going to hurt is if this Warframe expansion releases, because I'm immediately going to drop everything and go to that for a bit. But
Well, I will say this: if you liked the first one, you will like the second one, and it's worth a buy.
All right,
That's-
so we were just gonna, do a quick once-over on Destiny since everyone's beat us to it, but there you go. What about Divinity? There's no light in Destiny, but you've been doing some Divinity, right, John?
yeah, so
Origami Sin.
Divinity Original Sin 2. This is a Kickstarter game. I did back it. I think at the I don't know. I didn't spend more than $50. I think I spent $25, but I'd have to look it up. But I kind of just did the admission price to get a digital copy of the game on Steam. This is by Larian Studios, of course, who did Divinity 1, which is a big Kickstarter success. This one, the way they went about the design is they all the party members can be the player character, and every party member had a writer assigned to them that wrote all their dialogue and everything like that.
That seems really not the right way to approach that.
I
mean, how do you have cohesion? I mean, I at first glance I was like, oh, that's really smart. You can have someone make their own character, and everyone's then show up together. But this is a game; there's to be a cohesive thing, doesn't there?
Right, like think about it in terms of they set up a skeleton for the story frame, right? Where they say, okay, you go to point A to point B to point C to whatever. This is our plot line that we're doing, and this is the thing we're going to go through, and then you have each writer create a character that reacts differently to each situation. So, and
Oh,
then
okay.
obviously
Okay.
you're going to have dialogue choices in it too that'll affect that. So obviously if you take one of their pre-gen characters and make a player character, you can influence that. But, you know, the tone of their voice actor, I'm sure, is not going to change that much, which this surprised me the most on it is that everything is voice acted in this game. Like, this is a text-heavy RPG. Like, the first one was like 100 hours long, you know, if you wanted to do everything. And like, me and my friend John got on and did the co-op the other night for a few hours, and like, I mean, granted, I guess item descriptions aren't voice acted, but like,
What about your dialogue choices? I mean,
player
I saw
character.
some menus where you would like have like 1 to 4 where you could pick.
Yeah.
You pick those and then they say it, or does it just do the Fallout thing?
It just does the Fallout thing in that situation.
Okay, that's fine. That's probably the good way to do it.
But I mean, like, all the player characters seemed really cool. Like, as you're scrolling through the create stage, which is where we probably spent a good half hour to 45 minutes. Maybe it wasn't that long, but like, the character designs are fucking badass. Like, they made some really cool looking armor and character setups. But 2, whenever you're scrolling through the characters, you have the option to do, well, all of them are customized, but you have the option to do, you know, one of the written backgrounds, and it'll kind of give you a little audio intro to what the character is, and then the character will do a little song and dance type thing for you. Like, so I was
literal song and dance?
No, not a literal.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
But the like, the one I chose was, like, I wasn't going to choose her because she just looked like the hot chick in the lineup, and I was like, I kind of want to be the skeleton, which you can choose.
Everybody is picking that skeleton, man.
He sounded a little bit too like snooty for me. Granted, he's not as snooty as the lizard, the Red Prince guy, who is hilariously fucking snooty.
The snooty red lizard?
Like, okay, so here's the deal. Like, the characters you don't pick are still in the game, like, because the game starts out on a ship and you can save them, blah, blah, blah. So, like, me and my friend John, we run into this Red Prince guy. My friend John is a lizard person and I'm this human chick. And he talks to the Prince guy, and the Prince is like, you know, you might be an alright slave for me. Like, totally talking down to him. And, like, he talks to my character and doesn't say any of that shit. Like, it's all, like, weirdly race-based. And, like, you get lots of different dialogue aspects. Like, the chick I chose, I guess, was an entertainer or something like that. So she has, like, this fame attribute that she can randomly get extra dialogue choices from. But the, like, it's a really, like, this does not feel like a Kickstarter game. I've played a lot of Kickstarter games. I love a lot of the Kickstarter games I've played. This is like a high-end AAA feeling game.
Really?
Like, this
I heard it's real breakable.
probably. Like,
I was just watching a video right before we started of, I guess someone figured out a way to teleport one boss over to another boss, and because they're set to, like, universal aggro, they just beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, because you really, I mean, this is really like a D&D game where if the people you are playing with are not kind of in the room with each other most of the time, they're going to miss out on plot line and not know what's going on. Like, there was a moment before a shipwreck where I thought John had left me on the ship to die, because he, like, had already gotten in a lifeboat or something to swim off, and I was still on the ship. He's like, "Oh, you aren't on the boat?" I'm like, "No, what's you doing?" And you know, luckily, just everything got wrecked anyway. But like, and I don't know what happened. Like, we party wiped once, and it just restored us. But I don't know what happens if he dies and then I just leave the area. Like, I don't think he gets an opportunity to resurrect unless I resurrect him.
His copy of the game is just null and void now. You're just like, well, we had a good run, buddy. Take it easy.
Well, and it's like drop in, drop out co-op too. So I chose, like, this chick character because her intro is fucking badass and, like, kind of horror story-esque. But he custom made some lizard dude, and like, that lizard dude is now one of my party members. So if I wanted, I could never play with him again. and his lizard dude would still be in that instance of the game.
So what happens if you level up his lizard dude, and then he drops back into the game?
Right, so I'm hosting the game, so all the saves are on me.
Oh, so he can do whatever he wants to your characters now. When he jumps back into yours, it's just using your stuff.
Yeah, essentially.
So basically, he takes over the lizard dude that you had leveled up in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't played it since. I'm probably gonna play some more with Divinity with him this weekend. But that's a really super cool game. Like, some crazy shit happens in the beginning. Like, it is a real strong intro. I feel like they fixed, like, the first game, I custom made a character and I feel like I just picked a bunch of skills that were not cohesive at all. And this game seems like they really put a lot of work into making sure a lot of the stuff would still work with each other. Because combat did not feel anywhere near as difficult as it did previously. And it's really...
It's isometric, but is it turn-based or is it real-time that then you can pause and do strategy stuff?
It's turn-based. It does uses like an AP system. So your guy gets like 6 AP that he can use to... Like, it's like XCOM, I guess.
So they're doing the Fallout thing. Okay.
Yeah, but there's no like cover or any bullshit like that. I'm just saying, like, you move X amount of AP and then you need a certain amount of AP to do certain different attacks or whatnot.
Like VATS or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a VAT? I don't use VATS a lot. But yeah, that's super, super good game. Can't recommend it enough. I would love to see what a 4-player game of that plays like, but at the same time, I would imagine that would only happen once or twice, and then you'd just be stuck with this completely ruined world. But
is that the size of the party?
I believe so. I believe if it's like the last game, it's 4. Right now, we currently have 4 members in our party, so I assume the co-op goes up to that.
Well, it's cool. How much is this retailing for? I know you said you kickstarted it, but...
I don't know that offhand. I would assume $60.
Okay.
But it's I don't know if they have a demo out of it, but I like it.
I don't know that I would bite at $60, but what you've described, I might take a chance at 20 maybe. I've been getting really into more turn-based stuff lately. Even getting back into XCOM Enemy Unknown, I think.
Okay.
Is the first newer one.
Gotcha. So Divinity Original Sin for the base package is $45.
Okay.
They have some special edition that I have no idea what it comes with. If that's like 90.
Woof.
I don't know what that
is. It just another copy of the game?
I don't know. It comes with some weird DLC shit. I don't know what any of this stuff is. It's a bunch of digital crap. I bet it's all the Kickstarter digital prize stuff. But
probably.
Anywho, I don't have a pun for you. You guys, I guess.
Are there any kings in Divinity 2, man?
Golly.
That's all right. That one's not good either, but at least I tried.
Princes, Prince.
So I'm gonna do a real quick thing. I had finally gotten around to see the first Kingsman movie, and man, that thing is incredible on almost every level. It's great action. It's got fun X-Men type training school stuff. Mm-hmm. It's got great actors. They got neat tech. It's very well shot. The soundtrack's good. The action, just amazing. I cannot recommend that enough. I think Golden Circle was a big old miss. What did you think, Randy?
The action was there.
Was it?
I thought so. The flavor was there, definitely.
Was it?
Holy crap! Yeah, I thought so. The plot was a big old mess. I'll give you that. Like, it was all over the place.
This felt like a Kingsman movie for about 10 minutes, and then they literally blew up all the Kingsmen and went to America, and it just, there goes Kingsman. This is no longer a Kingsman movie. There's a couple of scenes. There's a couple of good action scenes, but even those weren't as good as the first one. Yeah. And the music was not as great, mostly because of what I felt was very forced cameo. It didn't work for me. No? None of the America stuff worked. And Channing Tatum, was all over those trailers. He was in the movie for like 3 minutes, and then they literally put him in a coma and stuff him in a box.
Yep.
Like, the cameo person had more lines than he did. That's not an exaggeration.
No, it's not.
But he was in Magic Mike, right? Was that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is Magic Mike.
So that little dancing thing that he did in the one spot, was that supposed to be a callback to his other role?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that made me laugh.
He also played himself as the Gimp in Into the World, or This Is the End, or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, I never got around to see that. I feel like I should.
That's a very funny movie.
I really enjoyed it at the time.
He's also great in the Jump Streets. Those are funny.
I'll forever have to take your word on that. I mean, and here's the thing. On paper, this movie should have worked. Julianne Moore is the villain, and she's like a 1950s housewife in that she never stops smiling, even when she's doing some real horrific shit. All right, I'm going to spoil an early thing in the movie. This is kind of how they introduce her character, because they totally foreshadow it. So you see it's coming. She makes the new recruit to her evil cabal eat a guy who betrayed her.
Well, we don't even know if that's true. All she says is that he screwed up. It doesn't matter why.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe he didn't betray her.
It's a test of loyalty. All we know is that he recruited this new guy, and he's like bringing him to her, right? And so they're both there in the meeting, and then she's like, "Hey, you guys hungry?" And yeah,
I'm not going to say what she does to him, because that's the fucked up piece of that. But after he is deceased, she makes this new guy eat some of him, and doing it all with this smile on her face and this Mrs. Cleaver voice. Cleaver, that's funny. So I mean, she's good. The action scene at the end when they were going after her in this compound was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. They tried to kind of go political with the story, but then they sort of take both sides, which had me confused.
I didn't read the article, but I saw a link to an article on Twitter where the director basically admitted to taking out some pretty overt anti-Trump stuff.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
they would have taken a stronger side, but they didn't want to. They wanted ticket sales, which I understand.
Well, no, it wasn't even that, because it's clear that the president in this movie is sort of not really Trumpian, but like he's meant to be a bad guy, so it would have been an easy move. But like what they were going to do is they're in the shots of the Oval Office, they were going to cover it all in real tacky gold shit and just do stuff like that. But even without that, they tried to sort of take both sides of this thing. Like there's this thing.
They're pretty clear that the president was.
Well, so they criticize the war on drugs and then criticize anyone who's ever done drugs. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Really? They have the characters do it from their own spot, but it's not like the movie takes a pretty clear side.
I still don't. I mean, they paid lip service to taking that side, but I think they were.
What?
No. We can talk after the cast about it. I disagree with you on that. Lastly, for me, they put Colin Firth in all the advertisements for this thing, so he's in it. So it's bullshit to me that they retconned him out of being dead. And then the way they do that makes it so easy to retcon anything else. Like, that anything that happens in that movie, if someone dies or someone goes missing or someone gets blown up or something, like none of it has any weight anymore because you feel like, oh, well, they'll just retcon him out of it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I think they just tried to do too many callbacks for the sake of doing them. And like instead of making me cheer and be like, yeah, that's the thing they say in these movies, it just took me out of it.
Yeah, too many winks.
I mean, and just going back and forth, like Jeff Bridges being the dude who runs the American Kingsman was great. That was great casting. But just between jumping back and forth with this retcon stuff with Colin Firth and then being over in America and then there's this other plot going on, it was too jumpy and didn't feel cohesive.
It was very jumpy.
It felt like a bunch of vignettes of someone who was forced to make a sequel on a movie because of one.
Yeah, and there is a scene that takes place inside of a woman's vagina.
Oh, there is that. Yeah.
No joke. I'm just gonna leave you guys with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the end. One could say it was a finger blaster.
Oh Jesus. So I worked a bunch of overtime, and with that overtime, bought a Nintendo Switch. I got
sweet.
the nice, colorful one because all my other consoles are already black and gray.
Is there something wrong with your camera? Because that looks like the ugly children's version of a Switch.
Oh, right. Well, I'll start carrying one. Someone
Don't listen to him, John.
So,
I think it looks cool.
Like, this thing is pretty fucking big. Like, I have an iPhone Plus. I'm kind of showing my shit on the stream, so I apologize to people listening. But like,
you don't have your Social Security number up, dude.
Oh yeah, my bad. Anyway,
Bank
so I
account
bought I got the Switch. I picked up Mario Rabbids, and I picked up Blaster Master, and I played like a match or two in Mario Rabbids, and then decided I'd check out Blaster Master, and then played Blaster Master all of last weekend. Like,
oh yeah,
I probably put like 8 hours into that game.
Is there multiplayer?
I don't think so.
Ah.
If there is, I don't. Well.
You can be the Master Blaster. That's what the PvP is called.
Wait. So this is a Blaster Master Zero is a remake of the original Blaster Master for Nintendo.
So do you blast masters, or are you a master of blasting?
You are a master of blasting.
Okay,
you are the Master Blaster.
See, the original Nintendo game, you were a kid. Maybe his name was Jason. I can't remember, but he had a pet frog that escaped down a hole, and the kid went down the hole, and there was a tank, so he got in the tank and went off to fight evil mutants. So Japan had a completely different intro and story to theirs, and then over here, back
it wasn't a frog. It was like a rabbit.
No, like Japan's was like I can't remember. One of my friends described it to me. It was kind of in depth. And made way more sense.
In depth, I get it because he fell in the hole.
It was probably it was a dream of a child right before the bomb fell on Hiroshima, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, like in the tank is like the enraged souls of Hiroshima. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so then they made a Nintendo Power Book, Worlds of Power Book. I don't know if you guys remember those, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, they did all these little fictional, like, I don't know they're fictional books that are all like 90 pages long, and it'll take you like an hour or two to read, but they did one for like Ninja Gaiden and Blaster Master, and
so these are like mini novels, not like comics.
Tie-ins.
Metal Gear, they did one for Metal Gear.
And that one was 210 pages?
Nope. I don't think Hideo Kojima wrote it either, but...
Okay, so it was 90 pages, but it was only 2 monologues then.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else they did. They did Simon's... I don't know. That doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about those. Those are shitty things. But it's just to say that basically this new version combines all of the stories from all of them into this new game, which is... when it comes down to it, it is a remake of the original, but like some of the level designs changed, and like some of the game... While the tank gameplay has stayed relatively the same, they've done a lot of convenience things where, like, you just kind of have one energy bar that you collect stuff for, and it's pretty rampant, so you aren't ever going to run out of hover. Because in the original game, you would get the hover mod, and then, fuck all if you could find some fucking hover juice to get you somewhere. But
why is this called Blaster Master Zero?
I don't know. It's a remake.
Are they like, this is the game we wish we had made, or is it a prequel, or...
It's a remake of the original.
Then why the zero? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Or is that a Japanese thing where like zero means something else over there?
I don't know.
I think it means zero.
Yeah, but they name the planes the zeros, so like there's cultural significance there or something maybe.
They also had F-Zero.
Oh, okay. So you're doing like when you're in the tank, you're going like 650 kilometers an hour or whatever. Then
no.
Is that the tie-in?
No.
Is it? Are you on a magnet track?
No.
They lost the sale.
Right.
F-Zero is actually a pretty rad property. Let me know when they come out with a new F-Zero.
Well, Blaster Master is really fucking good. Like, because on the one hand, it's a 2D platforming Metroidvania. On the other hand, it is a Zelda 1-esque explore the cave, blow up some walls and find some holes to
They're
find
still
some
doing
secret
that. Good.
rooms.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's great.
So the overhead stuff's better too. Like I own the original Blaster Master, and played it real briefly before I got into this one, just so I could have a better idea what they changed. And like the original Blaster Master, whenever you go into overhead view, you only had the cardinal directions. Like you didn't have northeast or southeast or anything like that. And this one you get full
figure it out.
You get like full 360 control in that mode, which makes it
Okay.
way easier. And they have this weird level up system where the less you get hit and the more you collect weapon upgrades, then you can kind of scroll through all your weapons, and you can hold the button down to select the one you want, which is I thought was really fucking nice. When I beat it, like originally I thought the last boss was complete bullshit. Like I literally spent probably a good hour trying to beat that fuckhead. And then when I did, I discovered, oh right, I need to collect everything in the game or it's going to just continually giving me this bad ending. And so the next time I fought the boss, like I beat him the first time. So I guess I have it down now, and the boss is just getting down what he's going to do.
You've become the Master Blaster.
Yeah. So anyway, I love it. It's only $10 on Switch.
How many bosses are left now after you've defeated him? 0.
Only yourself.
There
remains.
it is.
That's the true enemy.
Yeah.
So I also picked up Metroid 2: Return of Samus. This is a 3DS game for some reason, because God hates us all. Otherwise, he would have released it on Switch.
It took you 3 days to become that fucking guy.
You try playing. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and find the nicest graphics game on your PS4 you can play, and then I want you to go plug in your N64 and try and play GoldenEye on.
No, I'm saying that you've had this thing for like 6 days now, and you're like, I wish it was on Switch. No.
Pretty much, like it's a nice screen, it's good graphics, and then you go to fucking 3DS, and like I've never thought the 3DS had good graphics, like because 3DS came out, it was kind of almost Nintendo's response to Vita, years later, or not Vita, PSP years later, and the Vita didn't come out too much longer, I think, after that, and Vita was already heads and
3DS
tails.
is like 10 years old, isn't it?
Probably.
Probably closer to 5 or 6. If that.
I think it's
but
anyway.
the DS, though, has been out for forever.
Like, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of good games on the 3DS, but, like, that game's screens have always looked like shit. Like, I've never thought they looked great.
And they're a lot smaller than I remember. I mean, I don't have the XL, so...
2011. But this was also back when Nintendo was convinced that chasing graphics was stupid. So I'm sure even for the time, its graphics weren't great. They went through that phase, starting with the Wii, where they just said, we're not going to give a shit about that. Well, it was all about innovative gameplay.
So how is the actual game? We haven't even gotten to this yet.
I like it so far. It's kind of weird because you get there and your entire point is it gives you I can't remember if it's 40 or 41. It's like there are 41 Metroids here. Go kill them, and that's your goal of the game, I guess. The
Neat.
exploration and shooting and weapons and secret stuff in that game is all really good. The Metroid battles are really dumb. I hope they get better. I've only killed like 3 or 4 of them, so I really hope they get better because they are the most anticlimactic thing in there. But they do this thing where every time you get a new ability, there is somewhere you can warp that you can immediately find like 3 or 4 secret rooms or passages or something to kind of use that ability to get through.
That's a very good idea.
And they seemed like I'm starting to wonder how many abilities are in this game because I already have like, you always start out getting the ball and then you get missiles and well now I got the ice beam already, which seems really early to get the ice beam.
Okay, so it's the ball, then the missiles, then the ice beam. God, I feel like this is an analogy for something, but I just can't think of what it would be.
Well, and now my ball sticks to things, so I can climb up walls with my balls.
Like your thighs.
Balls to the walls! Samus is going balls to the walls.
Yep. That is accurate.
So is this a straight remake of the Game Boy game? Just prettied up?
I have never played the Game Boy game, but everything I've read about it is that they 100% changed nearly everything in it.
Okay, so at least you have... Well, I guess you got Rabbids. I was going to say at least you got something that wasn't a remake.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a new Metroid game. It's by Mercury Steam, which is... Like, I discovered that after I'd bought it, because I just thought, oh, Metroid, it's going to immediately get my money, because it has Samus starring in it. But
that's really dangerous stuff. You shouldn't melt Mercury. Like, you could die real easy.
You can't, I mean, Mercury's already melted.
Or, like... sublimate, I guess, whatever, boil,
or make
Mercury. Yeah. Don't do that.
Boil.
Or make like one really good Castlevania game followed up by a Castlevania game that allegedly wasn't good. I've never played it because I heard it wasn't good.
Are these the Lords of Shadow people?
Yeah.
Okay, I can vouch for that second game being not good. I'm forcing myself to go through it, but boy, it's not good.
And Clive Barker's Jericho, like I hear that was just a critical darling.
But what about Undying?
Did they make that? I don't know.
I don't know. It's another Clive Barker game.
Oh, okay. Point being is they don't have a great track record. But this one I think they did a good job on. Like, it doesn't quite have that drive to make me... Like, I don't know what... Like, I've been so burnt out on wanting to play video games the past couple months. And Blaster Master just, like... I don't know. There was something about that game that just compelled me to want to play it that I just have not felt since...
Like
maybe
Horizon
near.
Zero Dawn, maybe?
Yeah, like,
near.
It's been since like June or May or something, Metroid doesn't quite have that thing for me. Like, I really like it. I really like the gameplay. I like the exploration. I will continue to play it, but at the same time, I haven't played it in a few days. So. Take it with a grain of salt. But, it's a new Metroid game. It's a 2D new Metroid game, and it's a good 2D new Metroid game. So, to a degree, that's almost all you really should need to know. But
okay.
Anywho, I guess it's almost the end of the month, almost the last day of September.
Yeah.
Which is 3 months after June. No, this one fell apart, too. So we got a little bit of backstory on this. A couple of episodes ago, I had said, that we had gotten some offers from some developers to, like, hey, here's, do you want a code of our game to check it out? And some of them, maybe one would fit one day, but we hadn't found it yet. We actually, right before we did the last cast, so we had an email from, oh my god, and now I'm forgetting the name of the developer. I think it's Ovosonico? Is that it?
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't write it down either.
Ovosonico, yes. Ovosonico. And they said, hey, we got this game. It's been out for a couple of weeks, but it's called The Last Day of June. Would you guys be interested in getting some codes for it? With the implication, to then talk about it. And I went and looked it up, and I was like, holy shit, this art style is really cool. We should take them up on this. And we did, and I've played through it all the way. John, this thing here says you've played it too. How far in are you?
Not very far. I played a bit last Sunday afternoon. I got through the intro, and then I changed where the little boy was, and then I just got to where it could be someone else, and I kind of decided to call it for a night there. And since then, all I've done is work overtime, so I haven't really played it.
So it's this weird game. It's got a gorgeous art style. It's all kind of hand painted sort of backgrounds and stuff. But then the models almost look like they're marionettes or puppets or something. Nobody has eyes. It's like their eyes are just scooped out, but not like a gross scooped out, just like a cool, you could see Pixar making these characters.
Yeah,
like
it's
on
almost
a wooden puppet or something.
It's almost clay animation style. Like, it's somewhere between like a weird indie like art project, and Tim Burton and Clay. Maybe
But
no, I shouldn't say
yeah.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton might be pushing, except that your characters are super skinny and have these big giant heads.
Yeah.
So like it's a little Jack Skellington corpse bridey kind of things. Oh, okay, I'll give you that. But anyway, it's super gorgeous. Randy, did you get a chance to start this one?
I have not. I feel terrible
Oh, yeah.
because they gave us codes, and I absolutely intend to, but I've been on Destiny. But the trailer looks amazing, and
So
I can
the
see
music.
it's- Yeah, go ahead.
The music is one of the best pieces of this. And I want to say that like maybe the director of the game had to do with the music. I think that the game is based off of one of the songs maybe, or a short story, something. The guy who did all the music and did all the songs, I know I saw his name in the credits proper, so he's got something to do with it, but he killed it. But basically the hitch of this game, when I started playing it, I thought, wow, this is really beautiful, but this is going to be a walking simulator, and I'm going to be real bummed. And that's not. So, kind of, I was going back and forth on spoiling this, but it really is the hook of the game, and we can't really talk about most of the rest of the game without spoiling it. June is not the month. June is the main character's wife, and she dies within the first 45 minutes or so of playing.
That's in the trailer.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this car wreck, and you're playing. I forget the guy's name. They don't really give anyone any names, do they, John?
I don't think they do.
No. Actually, there's no dialogue at all in this. It's just all like Simlish. Is that what they call that language in The Sims?
Oh, maybe.
I would have gone the Ico or Shadow of the Colossus direction because they use gibberish there too. But
What's gibberish and
hold on,
and
gibberish?
those games suck.
oh god damn it! I did it again. Okay.
Oh my
I
God.
just said those games suck like it was categorically true. I know I'm the asshole there. Okay, I think those games suck.
I categorically you're always the asshole, but it's okay. Yeah, no, this
So
is kind
anyway-
of a. I'm sorry.
But
You
the
were.
tone would be like if we were having a conversation and I wanted to ask you a question, it would be like, and then you would be, and they use the gesticulations to kind of get.
Yeah, it's like mimed.
Yeah, but the voice acting, I mean, it's weird to call it that because they aren't actually words. It's just so good because you can really figure out exactly what's happening without any writing at all.
Well, and this makes it there's no language barrier.
There's no
right?
language barrier, right?
Worldwide appeal.
No localization.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this game, your character wakes up, and clearly it's a year, 2 years, whatever later, and June was real into painting. And part of the story that they tell through these, I mean, the game is mostly played through flashbacks because he's flashing back to that day that happened, and taking over the bodies of the other people in this small town, and changing what they did so that the course of events is such that his wife does not die.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the game runs into some hurdles instead of running over them. But I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, he's back. She had been painting and stuff, and so he's sort of going back in time via these paintings. And there's some magical shit and whatever. You can't really ever tell whether this is truly he's changing the past or if he's just trying to convince himself that he is and going crazy or something. But it's very Groundhog Day because you go back in time and the kid that John was talking about was maybe playing with a dog, and that's what caused this car wreck to happen. So you change that, and now the kid's doing something else. But because he wasn't playing with the dog, something else happened, and the car wreck still went down. But now you have to go to this other person's memory and change something they did.
So Groundhog Day meets Final Destination.
Kind of, but also with something else in there because these you can go back to these things multiple times. So there's a kid and a lady, a neighbor lady, and a hunter and an old man. So you'll fix the kids thing, and then you find out something that the lady did ended up killing. The accident still happened, and so now. But in order to fix hers, you have to use the same item that got the kid out of his position in the first one. So you're going back and forth and replaying these characters multiple times, which is fine except for how they approached it. So there's no way to skip any animations or cutscenes that you've already seen.
1,000,000 times, yeah.
Right. And they're not quick either. And they're always, I mean, aside from the method of them causing the car crash, the method of that changes as you change beats of the story. It's the same opening. You have to see a little bit of the intro for each character you went into. There's some kind of quasi-loading time stuff, and it gets real repetitive. Now, I guess why it bugged me so much is I could tell by the end of it that they had realized that this was fixable. Because towards the end of the game, it's a lot quicker to do kind of rewinds or repeats or whatever like that. And it bugged me. I'm sure they did it as an artistic choice. And if I went into why that was an artistic choice too much, it would kind of start spoiling stuff. And that is what this game is worth playing for. It's definitely a headphone game for a lot of reasons. But just living in that space and just sort of going through it. So I don't want to get too much into it, but it just bugged me out because the mechanics of this game I feel like really hurt it. There's a post-credit, and on the other hand, it's so beautifully directed and looking, even though it's a little jaggy at points, was like some of the shadows probably could have had a little more anti-aliasing or something, but I can live with that. That's not what this game is going for. But the processing is a little janky at points, but that's fine too. It's a beautiful game stylistically. The sound design is all great. They told a great story and they told it well. And even though I knew, so there's a post-credit sequence, and even though I knew what was going to happen, 30 seconds before it happened, when it did, I still got misty. I still teared up and then started laughing at myself for it. It's worth taking a look at if you're kind of into sort of quiet, I wanted to say introspective games. It's sort of dark and it's about loss and about dealing with that. This is not Crash Bandicoot, but it's still, if that kind of thing is up your alley, it's well worth your time. Again, full disclosure, we got free copies of the game, so I didn't pay for it. But I don't think that would have. I mean, if it was a full $60 game, yes, that's too much for this. But at your sort of average, middle indie game price point, and if it's up your alley, I can recommend it.
This is, to be clear, this is a point-and-click adventure game. This is not. This is more in common with a Sierra adventure game, I think, than say. I just went blank. The Hella game.
Hella.
The Max can travel through time or stop time.
Oh yeah, this is very deliberate. I mean, there's no running. A little bit into the game, you get this sort of slow jog that you can do, but this is not an action game by any means. This is a puzzle.
Well, yeah, no, I was just drawing some lines, but so far I really like the art style in it. I'm trying to think of what else to say about it. I need to sit down for an evening and get through it. I get the feeling it's probably not going to be super long, but the art style I think is at least worth watching the trailer for. I'm not sure what direction I'm going to go with the story. The kind of the heads on the characters bug me a little bit, and I kind of hate the little kid, and that's who I had to play last time. Although it was kind of funny, taking my ball and knocking down freaking plants and hearing him do almost a butthead laugh. Okay, that part was kind of nice being the kid. I guess I don't.
Well, there's a lot of cool collectible stuff that certain characters can open certain doors, and this kid can knock down planter milk cans.
I get the feeling this early on that it's going to wind up being, okay, the kid can open up these spaces for other characters. Now other characters can go back and go to these different spaces, and
it's
can
exactly
do
that.
things.
And it would be great, except it's so time consuming and tedious because you can't just flip to another character on the fly. You have to finish the events of that day with that character. in order to start a new one, whether it's that character or a different one.
Hmm.
And just running through all the cutscenes and just trying to go through all the motions, I think really hurt the game. And that's why I didn't get in,
So
I got maybe 7 out of 20 collectibles.
How long did it take you to beat the game?
I played it, I beat it in 2 nights. I probably put, and mind you, I was taking my time here. I probably put, 2.5 hours into it one night and then maybe an hour the next.
Okay.
So it's very manageable. They have this other title out called Murasaki Baby, Murasaki Baby, that came out for the Vita, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, but it's making me want to get a Vita. I'm not going to go into detail on this thing, but look up the trailer for Murasaki Baby on YouTube or whatever. That shit looks rad. I really wish I could play that thing.
I mean, you could go get a Vita TV and hope it doesn't require, touchscreen stuff.
Yeah, I guess I could. Anyway, that's that one. John, when you finish it up, if you have more to say about it, you should bring it up again. And Randy, you should play it.
I intend to.
Cool.
Are you full of shit, Randy?
No. I just I honestly was into Destiny, and I remembered as soon as I got on the Skype call, I was like, oh yeah, and then I was gonna go start it downloading, but I figured that would be a bad idea during the stream. So
It's a quick download.
as soon as we hop off here, I'm gonna download it.
So,
John,
however,
are you full of shit?
I am absolutely full of shit. So last episode, I just had this moment of genius where I was reading our chat window and someone was like, new Star Trek's coming out. I'm like, oh, where can we watch it? Oh, we can watch it on CBS and Netflix. So that's bullshit. So we can't watch it on Netflix because we're in the U.S. or Canada. Everywhere else can watch it on Netflix, but we have to pay for CBS Live or Go or whatever the hell it's called. So
All access.
I'm glad that I am correcting this after the episode's already aired, and anyone who might have been believe me is probably upset with me at this point. So I apologize.
What the fucking?
That's my
the
bad.
fucking knife. The twist in the knife about it is the first, the first episode. What do they call those? I'm drawing a blank.
Premiere.
The pilot. The premiere.
Yeah.
There you go.
Premiere pilot.
Is broken into 2 chapters, and they only aired the first one on broadcast TV. So, even to finish that episode, you got to go pay them their fucking blood money. Fuck them. Fuck Star Trek.
CBS doesn't have enough good shows for me to want to fucking give them a monthly fee. So
No, what do they have?
I mean, you could binge 19 hour or 19 seasons of Big Bang Theory.
Oh God.
I mean, I guess.
If you just you want a reason to just end it all, you can just put that on, while streaming it while you go to sleep. Download the stuff, just stream it, have the headphones in when you're at work. You'd be dead
No
within
way.
2 days.
If you fall asleep to that, you're gonna wake up with your hair falling out and
well, look
your
at.
teeth be cracked.
Let's burn through all these the games with gold and releases and all this stuff. Let's not spend 2 hours on it like we usually do.
All right, Xbox Gold games. Let's see. This looks like it had some game name console edition.
Game
oh God!
name?
Wow.
You've had an hour and 15 minutes to read this list, dude.
Gone Home. Console
Game name.
edition.
It's a great game. If you haven't played it, you should play
How lazy do you
it.
think I am?
No, I was far away and okay, shut up. All right, Gone Home Console Edition is available all of October on the Xbox One.
It's a great game. If you haven't played it, you should.
Okay, this is a port. Well, I'd have to get an Xbone first.
Well, that's fine. It goes on sale a lot, but this is Jake probably hates it because it is one of those games people like to call a walking simulator.
I'm sure. It's made by people that I know make good games, and I'm sure it is a very good version of that genre. But it's not a game that's up my alley.
All right, the Turing Test is available from the 16th to the 15th of November.
I want to say that's a walking simulator too.
Well, I hope I can find out whether I'm a robot or not in that game.
Yeah, I think it's the plot is something to do with AI and something like that. First-person puzzle game.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Sort of like a mist. All right, Medal of Honor. This time it's in planes. Available October 16th to the 31st on the Xbone and the 360. 10-year-old game.
Yeah, I put some notes in there that this shit came out a decade ago.
Anybody really feeling the itch to play a decade-old World War II shooter?
Nope.
Nope.
Got a free one coming up this weekend.
Rayman 3 High Definition, October 1st to the 15th on the Bone and the 360. This shit came out almost 15 years ago. That's they're really.
That's
reaching.
a lot of years.
I really
those
feel
those aren't great this month.
I'm not sure why, but I feel like Nintendo is the only one that can really get away with that. Everyone else just doesn't seem like that's a good idea. All right, PS Plus games for October. Got Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Yep.
Coming.
Okay.
Yep. PS4. I have never ever played one single Metal Gear game. Amnesia: Collection. Amnesia: There we go. It's coming out on the PS4, and then we've got Hue, or is that Hue? It could be Hue, which was a city very important in the Vietnam conflict. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's Hue, coming out on the PS Vita and the PS4. I've been watching that Ken Burns documentary, so I got Vietnam on the brain.
Okay. So just real quick on those three. I mean, there's a clear winner this month, I think, and that's Sony. If you haven't ever played a Metal Gear Solid game, I would think this might be the one to pick up because it's got a lot of. I mean, yes, the story's up its own ass and doesn't make very much sense, but like.
Isn't that all of them?
Exactly, that's all of them. So you don't really need any. You don't need to know any of the backstory going into this because it's fucking stupid anyway. But it's fun and it's open world and it's definitely worth downloading and giving a shot, even if the Metal Gear games aren't up your alley because they're not up my alley, and I really like this one.
Okay, good. Amnesia or Hue? Anybody interested in
I am
those?
interested in the Amnesia sequel because I never played it. The original name Amnesia is good. It's a good little horror game. I mean, it's more, the enemies in it are invincible. I assume you eventually see something in the game, but for the most part, the game's about its sound design. So, very Lovecraftian without the racism.
All right. Okay, releases coming up through the 13th of next month. On the 29th, Cuphead on Xbox One and the PC.
That shit is tomorrow, man. I'm way into that. I'm getting that.
Oh, are we doing tomorrow releases? Because if so, you missed one, which is Gundam Versus comes out tomorrow.
I'm
it's
just going
brought
down
up
the list
again.
here, buddy.
It is brought up again because last episode I thought it was an Xbox One exclusive, and it's not. You can pre-order it on Steam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Relax.
Fucker.
Okay.
Well,
October
everyone
10th.
wants Cuphead and no one wants Gundam, so I'm just sore.
No, that's how it should be.
Middle Earth: Shadow of War coming out on all the current platforms. So
Nope, not true.
What Xbox, PS4? Okay, I guess not the Switch. Sorry.
Look, man, it's getting Skyrim, so it's,
Scrim. Middle Earth: Shadow of War, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. There you go. Just to clarify, I really liked Shadow of Mordor. I don't know if Shadow of War is going to be worth the money. Isn't that the whole question? Whether this was actually.
It's the question, and there's some shady shit about it that I'm going to bring up a little bit later.
Okay. The 13th, got The Evil Within 2 on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Mushroom Wars 2. So good they made it twice, coming out on PC. Maybe some other platforms. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. Evil Within 2, I'm about halfway through the first one. I will get back to it probably in time to pick this up on like maybe a holiday sale. And Mushroom Wars 2 is a very probably just me game. It's one of these games where you capture points and then those generate more guys, and then you just drag guys. Like if you drag your dudes from this one to another point, it takes half of them away. Sort of, and everything's always regenerating. You would know the kind of thing I'm talking about if you saw it.
You would know.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, sort of a mini RTS.
All right. On the 16th, Blade Runner 2049, switching to movies.
Give me a reason I should watch this.
It's getting positive buzz right now, but factual buzz, this is directed by Denis Villeneuve. I don't know how to say his name, but like his previous movies include. I was trying to look it up real quick.
He did Arrival.
Arrival, which is a fucking amazing movie. He did Sicario, which is another really incredible movie. And Sicario is a movie that's incredible because of the way it is directed specifically. Like I will I will knife fight you on how if you think the acting in that movie is good, because it's really the directing that is doing the acting for you, in my opinion. Not that I'm a movie critic expert or anything, but
Hot take.
Or a knife fighter.
but that's you don't know that. You don't know my fucking past.
He's gonna learn and then fight you with knives.
I get,
He's
like-
gonna run down the beach with his
Yeah.
with his friend in crop tops, and then just they'll have knives.
You
I don't
have
know.
weird
You-
knife fighting fantasies. That's a weird one.
That was a Rocky 3 joke.
Oh, okay.
Rocky 2, Rocky 3.
Okay.
Try to keep up.
Okay.
So
anyway,
October
so-
17th, later. So sounds like John's on board.
Yeah, I'm on board. Like I'm skeptical. It can be good, but it's gotten a lot of really positive buzz so far. A lot of people really like the anime that they've done. I'll
got
let you know
Jared
when I
Leto.
get to watch it. Yeah, he's a mark against it. And to be honest with you, so is Harrison Ford, and so is kind of everyone in the movie's a mark against it. But the
I got
director.
nothing against Gosling.
The director, the kind of soundtrack to it, the way they're shooting everything in terms of showing all the landscapes and cities and whatnot, like that has me pretty sold on it though. So
Okay. Television, October 1st, Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 9. When did they stop?
They stopped for like a long time. I saw that
Yeah.
on Metacritic. Yeah, I saw that on Metacritic, and I was like, "Holy fuck, this is coming back!"
Curb was like in the early 2000s, right? Late 90s. Turn of the
Well,
century.
It was early 2000s, but yeah, it's crazy.
that
I
up.
had no idea it was coming back.
He got some people are interested in it because he was doing Bernie on SNL, and like
yeah.
he got some new publicity and.
I mean, it's not like he needs the money, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of him, do you hear Julia Louis-Dreyfus has breast cancer? She announced that today. That's a bummer.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
that sucks. I wondered what it was because Biden tweeted out that what did he say? He said us Veeps got to stick together or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was close. It's not the 90s. It premiered October 15th, 2000.
Well, there you go.
But I was still in high school.
So you didn't know what time was?
Well, I think of high school as the 90s, but I forget that I graduated in 02. Anyway. Okay. Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 9 coming out on the HBO. I have not seen a single episode. And Seinfeld isn't really my jam.
You
not
never
that
you
they're the
never
same
watched
show, but
even back in the day?
uh-uh.
It's a lot. I'm gonna get some shit for this. This is the second episode in a row of shitting on Jerry Seinfeld. It's a lot better than Seinfeld.
Just shit right on him.
Just because Larry David he plays himself, like he plays a fictional version of himself that I
Sure.
don't know how fictional it is. It's just a very self-deprecating portrayal of himself. It's definitely worth watching. If you already have like HBO Go for that month or whatever, try out the
Yeah, it's
first
sort of
couple
like
episodes.
maybe like Louis is the self-deprecating version of himself. Mark Maron has a show. I think it's called Maron. Mark
This
Moron.
is to the nth degree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's coming out on the 1st, which is Sunday. October 2nd, The Gifted on Fox. This is this X-Men stuff?
Yep. I don't remember much about it except that Amy Akers, the mom, and the dad is someone else.
That's what you remember?
I don't know. It sounded stupid to me.
What I remember is that
Yeah,
the
what you
dad is
just
not
said
Amy
sounded
Acker.
stupid to me.
I don't. It's a bunch of shit I don't care about. They
It's
found
like-
out their kids are mutants. They handle it either good or poorly. The world
about
comes
as well.
after them, I'm sure, with Sentinels.
All right,
I-
so
that's the
John,
one-
you're going to be a reporter on this one.
That's the one thing I never
I gotta.
understood.
I'm not. No, fuck that. I'm not watching this shit. You kidding me?
I never understood that about the X-Men world, is that the parents just freak out when their kids are mutants. Like, the kid can summon fire, and it's like, get out of my house, you're not welcome. I don't know. Never
Yeah, I mean
understood.
that is an interesting reaction to like, honey, Scott can shoot laser balls. Laser balls? What?
Send him to Pray Away Camp.
Yeah, like Scott's got laser balls. Like, we need to yell at him, disown him, and then kick him out of the house.
Well,
There's
that's not
no
a good
chance
one,
this could go wrong.
Scott Summers was an orphan, so that's not. Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was an orphan.
Anyway, okay, we got to get off of this. Streaming October 13th. Some anime about lion-shaped mechs. I don't know. Sounds pretty stupid.
Be some fucking Voltron season 4. I need that shit.
In your life. Is that a Voltron behind you?
It is.
Okay,
I'm not gonna walk over there. I don't know what to tell you. This is a green screen. This is gonna all like reveal that I don't own any of this cool shit behind me. So.
Oh shit! He's trying to take your wallet.
Tune in next week when it's revealed that John lives at the Y. He's skimming off their Wi-Fi.
He's been taping all these from the locker rooms. You just see this. You don't see the old man. You just see the pair of balls swinging on the, snail trailing on the floor behind him.
Sitting bare-assed on the bench.
Old people, am I right?
They're impossibly huge ass. Boom, taking up the whole bench. Okay, so John's excited. I'm not terribly excited about Voltron, but John seems to like it.
It's a good show. It's made by the people who did Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And it seems like a Power Rangers ripoff.
Do you really? Oh my god. I know you did that on purpose.
But it still pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it did.
Randy gets a point.
Point for Randy. All right. Okay.
So did you guys hear about this real shady bullshit for Shadow of War, the Shadow of Mordor, whatever?
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor. Yeah.
You brought it up earlier. What's the shady shit?
So they had a developer, and I think he might have been like a lead developer. He was a pretty important guy in the making of this game. He died during development.
Oh.
And so they were like, okay, well, we want to help his family. He was an important guy to us. We want to help his family. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell a DLC pack. I think it put him in the game or something like that. I forget what it actually did. But they were going to sell this DLC pack and donate all the profits to the family.
Okay.
Except in
happen.
certain states. So, if I bought it here in Illinois, they wouldn't donate those profits to the family. And they've been saying, and so every other country in the world, it's been the same thing. They were just either tight-lipped about it or straight up said, we're only doing it in these 49 states or whatever. And it's all it's real shady. John Bain, Total Biscuit on YouTube, did a much better piece on it than I could ever hope to describe. But basically, they've rescinded all that bullshit. And then they've kind of said, look, we tried to help this family out, and the way we were going to do it wasn't, we didn't send the right message, and it's also not going to help them as much as we thought, and it also seems shady the way they're selling this DLC, and kind of, even though they say they're profiting, still, that whole $5 isn't going to the family, because he's got this kid and wife, and, so, 30% Steam or Xbox or whoever takes their cut, and then credit card processing fees and stuff, and that $5 ain't going to them. It's all shitty all around.
It's posturing.
Right, and it wouldn't. I don't know that would have been everyone's. So anyway, they're not doing that anymore. They're just making a flat donation to the family. Great, good, nice job, WB.
Okay.
But that wouldn't seem so egregious if they weren't already. It seems like they're really gonna nickel and dime the shit out of everyone on this game.
How?
Between, buying currency to level up, so you can buy experience, you can buy gear, you can buy gear for your fucking orcs. So and that's always the thing when you go as far as they did with this. I mean, if in Destiny you could just pay to get engrams, that would feel real shitty. And then every time you did a raid or a strike and didn't get a good weapon, you'd be like, oh, well, they just want me to buy some.
Yeah, at least in Destiny, the pay content is all just cosmetic.
Right, and whether you're right or not, they might be on the up and up. They might, it's kind of along the same lines in Injustice, too, but there you got so much gear, especially right at launch day, that, it wouldn't matter. It's still shady, but you got so much gear that it wouldn't matter. But if there's even any doubt or question in your mind as to whether these drop rates or these gear quality is what it should be tuned for, that's going to ruin the game right then and there, and I think that sucks.
Hmm.
Last thing I got is it's about 70% downloaded on Steam here for me. I had to pause it to do the stream, obviously. Call of Duty World War II, the multiplayer beta is this weekend. You can get it and play it for free through Monday. So I'm probably going to try it, just to kind of see what it is, and because it's free. But
I mean, isn't
There you
it just a multiplayer beta?
it is, but it's been probably a good. I mean, I didn't play any of the Black Ops. The last Call of Duty I played was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So that's how far behind I am. So I kind of just want to go.
It would make
see what
sense.
they've
Like
done.
the first
Yeah.
Call of Duty I like is the one where I get spaceships to fly around, and the first one you feel like giving a chance to is the one where they go back to World War fucking II that I'm not gonna touch with a fucking 10-foot pole.
Well, you
And
hate
that's
America,
fine.
John?
I don't.
Always got to
No.
be opposite.
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's why they make different games. I don't want to do wall running and jetpacky shit from a first-person perspective. I don't want to
So
do that.
yeah, so you're not into Titanfall, is what you're saying.
Well, and this will give me an idea if you know how the single player. Because you said that last campaign was actually pretty good. So if this has a good feel and the guns feel good, maybe I pick up that single player when it comes out. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I do.
All right. So I guess they're
Are we doing
like
this last thing, John?
Might as well. Got a few
We already
minutes.
talked about it a little bit. The makers of Cowboy Bebop made a 15-minute long Blade Runner prequel anime. Takes place between the original Blade Runner and the new one. It's gotten super positive reviews. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, but you do need a subscription. But you can also sign up for their 7-week trial subscription to watch it for free. So,
Did you say 7-week?
or
trial
7-day trial. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm very
that's
tired.
fucking generous, man.
That'd be a pretty
Cool.
sweet trial.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it sounds good, and I just haven't watched it yet because I haven't had time, and I need to get paid tomorrow before I give Crunchyroll money because I think I used my free trial earlier this year, and I doubt they'll give me another one. But
I sure wouldn't.
What if you tell them that you're on the carousel?
Oh, here we go. You're gonna start up all the conspiracy theorist bullshit.
oh man, I don't.
There's gonna be all kinds of comments on the posts when we go to put up the episodes. And thanks a lot, Randy.
Yeah.
We're small enough. We could probably just start making up conspiracy theories and stir up that pot. Like we aren't big enough to have actual conspiracy theories about us. So I
Right.
think
But
we're
then
at it.
we're X or Y fanboys. So like you're saying, we should make burner accounts and post comments on the blog post for each episode, suggesting that we are like I'm a super Game Boy 1 fanboy or something like that. Is that what you're saying we should do?
No. I was more like talking about being like one of these political YouTube douchebags that just like try and tie strings to create like conspiracy theories together, but we could do about the movie industry or the game industry and then try and gain notoriety through inciting and making people crazy and think that there are pedophile rings under a Pizza Hut or something.
Yep.
All right, that's going to do it for this week.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
That really happened, though.
I know.
Okay.
Let's see. Be sure and visit the website, thecarouselpodcast.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. Come follow us on Twitch. Join the Facebook group. We also have a Discord group.
What?
Discord.
Yes. Discord? You said Discord group?
What
You
was it
still
earlier?
it sounded like you said Discord, like the same,
Oh.
like all 3 times, but you just said it with a different tone.
It's
yeah.
Discord, and you said Discord.
He's speaking gibberish. Just leave him alone.
Yeah, this is all gibberish.
So
Go on, Han.
if you want to buy some music gibberish from me, you can go to MusiM.bandcamp.com, also available on iTunes and Spotify. It is much easier to find me by searching for the album titles, so look for like Sea of Ghosts or In the Worship of Monsters or something. So
Where can people read your social media, Flibberfish?
Flabbergast.
you can
Bungie.
follow me on Facebook or Twitter. I'm tired, guys.
Guys, you're watching John slowly
So
die.
these 2 douchebags with me, you can't actually find anywhere here.
Ugh.
They may tell you
Yeah.
otherwise, but it's not true.
No, it's all lies.
They are actually just intelligent AIs that I'm really not smart enough to make.
That's what I
Joy
was
made
gonna
them
say.
for me, and they really just exist to berate me for 2 hours
That's
a
an
day,
exaggeration.
every 2 weeks.
That's why Joey was comfortable leaving, is because he just put these AIs in, and he can
You're in
sort
good
of
hands, John.
exert his influence that way.
Yeah. Is there anywhere you guys want to plug?
Nah.
Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see everyone next turn.
All right. See ya.
Okay.
Yee-hoo.
Titles.
Okay.
No, maybe we should make John read them to see how many of them he fucks up.
Do you want the? Do we record this part, or can we stop recording?
We record this
No,
part.
we record this part.
All right.
Asshole who clearly doesn't listen to the show.
Okay.
Tell me you at least download it.
Origami Sin. Doing the Fallout thing. At least I tried.
You skipped
There was
one.
another one in there.
You. What? Oh, the Snooty Red Lizard. You are the Master Blaster. 45 page.
You are the Master Blaster.
Sure.
Big difference.
Whatever.
Emphasis is important.
2-minute enter. No. 45 page monologues. Fucking hover juice.
That's a good one, but that's never going to make it.
Samus goes balls to the walls.
Same thing.
Mercury is already melted.
Funny, but it makes fun of me, so I'm not typing it into the page.
Game name console edition.
That is the one.
Amnesia : send them to pray away camp.
This is a one-horse race, guys.
I really like Mercury is already melted. I know you want game name console edition, which is really good.
Those are both. I'm cool with both of those.
Okay. Jake, you want to go with game name? I can do that.
Yeah. I will grant you that Mercury is already melted is funny, and is a funny thing that Randy said, and fuck both of you guys, okay?
It'll be in the podcast for everyone to hear and enjoy.
Game name, console edition.
So,
Thump. Gavel.
Okay, it's done.
thank you for joining us live, everyone. We'll be back in
All right.
2 weeks at Thursday at 8 p.m. Central.
Yep.
Goodbye.